So Mark Boswell versus Panera Bread Company. Mark Boswell filed a lawsuit against the Panera Bread Company. In 2018, Mark Boswell signed a contract when becoming an employee at Panera Bread. In the contract, Panera Bread made an agreement with Mark Boswell that if he was a manager for 5 years, he would get a one-time bonus with the company. But after 5 years with the company, they did not honor the one-time bonus to Mark Boswell. The Panera Bread Company business did not have the funds to give as many bonuses as they promised 5 years before. Mark was very unhappy that Panera Bread did not keep their promise and that they had a breach of contract together. Panera Bread was started in 1987 out of San Francisco, but then began selling bread out of St. Louis, Missouri. The name was the St. Louis Bread Company that started selling sourdough bread in a small bakery. The company had big goals to sell sourdough bread across the country. The Panera Bread Company hit many milestones of expanding its stores, selling soups out of grocery stores, having quality products, and a very well-trained employees who were skilled and that were also treated with respect. Panera Bread had many ups and downs throughout the years. They opened their first location in Kirkwood in 1987. In 2010, it was the first national restaurant to display a calorie information for each menu item on their menu. And this was a huge thing for history because many restaurants, fast food restaurants, did not have that information to give to people. And it's so important for people to know what they're eating and how much they're eating, because it's affected so many people in the past 30 years to not know what they're putting in their bodies. And there was lots of different things that have changed. They were the first national restaurant to introduce sprouted grains in 2013. They had many different changes throughout the years that have brought them to be a Fortune 500 company. So Panera is under the Fortune 500 company. They have over 35,900 employees that work for the Panera Bread Company that is based out of St. Louis. Panera has over $145 million in profits every year. They also have assets that are over $1,300 million to the company name, which is huge. That's a lot of money. So Panera, them not following the contract with Mark Boswell and two other employees, it affected many other people as well because they didn't go through with the contracts that they were hoping to get after 5 years of a manager role. So Panera created the program which qualifying managers were eligible for that one-time bonus. Panera then decided in 2010 that they would put a $100,000 cap on the number of bonuses they would give each year. It affected all the employees who signed those contracts previously. So that end result is a violation of contract law. So Mark Boswell and the Panera Bread Company case has affected the industry because companies are now being careful with the contracts that they have with their employees. The Panera Bread Company had to pay all employees the bonuses that they promised through contracts. The people in charge tried to make company money cuts and did not think about the money the company already promised to the many managers they got to stay with the company. And that was one major thing that how Panera Bread succeeded so well was because they had these longtime managers that knew what to do. They put in the work, and I think they did that because they knew that they were going to be treated well financially. So it's important to make sure that companies follow through with their contracts. That's why a contract law is set in place. It is a way a promise is made and kept in our society. There are many ways for the court system to decide which promises is a contract law in the legal system. The promiser is the person that is making the promise, and the promisee is the person that is accepting that promise. An economy has to keep the conditions of the contract law in place to enforce the agreements that are made. These are set to keep businesses accountable for following through with the contracts that they have their employees sign. Panera Bread is a very successful company, and they are that because of who their workers are. And they need to follow through with all of that. Thank you. Nobody.